Hi, I'm Rajat Kumar Sharma, your leadership, behavioral, and communications coach, and I welcome you to Catalyst Leadership. In our previous videos, we talked in detail about the art and science of business storytelling, how to use business storytelling as a means of persuasion, and how to involve storytelling in sales and leadership specifically. And in today's video, which is the last one in this series, I want to talk to you about your signature leadership story that influences people to enormous extent. For example, if I ask you as a leader, if you're invited on a stage someday and you are asked to speak about your own self, what exactly would you say? Now, let me put some limitations here. You cannot say things from your resume. You cannot cite your achievements. And you cannot even get into your technical or your behavioral skill set. What exactly would you talk about? Now, this is where the signature leadership story of a leader comes into picture. Because in leadership, people do not follow authority. They follow your narrative, your own story. And today, I'll help you design your very own signature leadership story. Research has proven time and again that leaders who share their personal story with their team members in the organizations or even at say, political or national level, they are considered far more trustworthy. They are considered 22 times more memorable and far more relatable as compared to the ones who just talk about work and about the professional stuff. Look at leaders like Indra Nui. She has always spoken about her upbringing in Chennai, that how she balanced her personal life and her work life and how he took herself up in the career hierarchy. Now, that is not just storytelling, that is humanized part. In our last video, we talked about the story of Satya Nadella, how he shared his own personal experiences, personal challenges of raising a child that required special attention, special care. Now, these are the things which make your own people, your own team members relate better with you. So now let's answer this thing that what is a signature leadership story of a leader? This is not your autobiography. This is not your success highlight reel. And this is not even a motivational speech. This is something that comes directly, honestly from your own life. It simply answers three core questions for your audience or for your team members. First, what do you stand for? Second, what instance in your life has shaped this belief? And third, how this belief is now influencing your leadership in today's times. That's it. Any signature leadership story is supposed to answer these three questions. And in order to build and develop your signature leadership story, I have this 5-part structured framework for you. The setup, the struggle, the realization, the transformation, and the leadership principle. Let's start with the setup. Now, this is where your story begins, where exactly you were in your career, say 15 years back, 20 years back, how you started. That's part of the setup, which is in business storytelling, what we discussed in our second episode of this series, context setting. The setup is your context from where you have started as a professional. When you share with your own people that you started as a young engineer or a young executive, firstly, it tells a lot about your journey, that how you have come so far because of your hard work and your persistence. And second, it also establishes their faith in the system that someday even we can be in this position where our leader is today. Second element, the struggle. Now you have to come to a specific instance. What is it that was bothering you in your journey back then? What is it something that you were not liking in that moment? What was the struggle? And from here, we come to the third element, that is the realization. What did that struggle made you realize? What lesson you learned from it? How you coped from it? And then what happened next? Which becomes the part of the fourth element, that is the transformation. How that struggle and how that realization after the struggle, how that coping story became a transformational journey for you, how it transformed you as a person as well as a professional. Finally, which becomes the fifth and the final element, your leadership principle in today's times. How this entire struggle, realization, and transformation journey has shaped up you as a leader, and how it has given you this leadership principle for today that you practice all by your heart. Now, this 5-element structure, this 5-part structure can help any leader in this world across an industry to design his or her signature leadership story. Because in today's times, the young professionals, especially the Gen Z, They do not connect only with authority. They connect with authenticity. So if you want engagement from them, share your values. If you want alignment from them, share your journey. And if you want loyalty from them, share your struggles. Because leadership without story feels mechanical, but leadership with story, it feels human. So after this video today, I really want you to please pause for 5 minutes. Look back in your journey as a professional. Look at that one struggling instance that transformed you as a professional, or any failure that transformed you both personally as well as professionally, or a mentor moment that changed the perspective of a mentor-mentee relationship or a leader-team member relationship for you. Find out that instance that becomes the part of your signature leadership story. Put that instance in that 5-part structure that we just discussed. And then this leadership story becomes your signature story in boardrooms, in meeting rooms, across so many domains in your professional life that you can't even think of. And why this is important? Because leaders who do not control their own narrative leave their identity to interpretation. And I do not want, as a trainer, as a coach, you to leave your identity to someone else's interpretation. Because this is something I have learned through my own experience, that your title may give you the authority, your strategy may give you the results, but it's your story that gives you the legacy. Because long after the slides and data and analytics that you are presenting, they disappear, your story remains in the hearts and minds of the people. And this is the story that brings the real influence.